Um, so, like we said, Karen, estimating using computer is exactly like estimating by hand. You're going to start with the process of estimating. I'm going to summarize, guys. We do the scope of work. You have to understand the scope of work. You guys are going to be doing two projects with your friend Chad, right, Matt? Commercial industrial. You already started it last week. It was a short week. This week, hopefully, we hit it good. Understanding the scope of work. The scope of work, Karen, for the commercial project is 12,000 square foot. We're going to do power and lighting and low voltage takeoff, complete wiring and devices, including quotation for the fixtures, which I already put it in the software for you guys, right? So that's what the scope of work is. Takeoff, I hope 90% of your time, guys, for these projects is going to be dedicated to the takeoff. I walked you last week with McCormick. I think you agree with me, Matt and Derek, that software is easy to use, set up the tabs, and we went there, we assigned labor and profit and what's not, and we did, I showed you all the way to the bid proposal. 90% of your time, guys, it's going to be dedicated to the takeoff, marking all the stuff they're going to be doing. So that's your takeoff. And then as you do the takeoff, Adam, you're going to be inputting your takeoff into the computer, right? So you're going to, all this information that you took off from your project is going to be entered under certain assemblies. And Matt, you were doing this one last week, right? Doing the takeoff on the right assemblies. From the takeoff, guys, the computer, then you're done. Like I said, 90% of your time is going to be dedicated to the takeoff and putting the stuff in the computer. That's it. The 10% is setting up the stuff and assigning it. After you do that, you generate the bill of material. You guys remember how when we were working with McCormick, how it generates all the bill of material for you? You don't have to worry about it. Pricing and laboring. We did the pricing. The software will do the pricing and we'll do the laboring for you. And of course, softwares are well known of doing math. So totaling and extending is completely done, guys. Completely done for you. And it shows you in the project sheet the estimate summary, which includes all your extensions and all your labors and all your materials that you have done in the software. That will be included directly. So I cannot emphasize enough, gentlemen and ladies, that 90% of our time will be dedicated when we do estimate by hand into inputting the material into the software, into taking the material off the blueprints and putting them in the software. Any comments, guys? Any questions about estimating by software? Do you guys agree with me? You already started it last week, and you're going to be kicking it this week, finishing it, right? So complete colored takeoff of your sheets. That's what my expectation, guys, from this project. Matt, cool. So that's what the software moving, and then after you do the estimate summary, then the bid price. You do the bid price, and you're going to see how you come up with the bid price for you. And we had the profit and the overhead and what's not. That's also done by computer. And then you guys have done these two with me. I walked you with Accubit. I'm sorry, McCormick. And this week we will do also Accubit. You're going to be looking at them with McCormick or Accubit on bid analysis. What information do I have so it can give me bid analysis? So before I send my my bid to the owner, I need to make sure that I did not make a lot of mistakes. We'll look at this. And bid proposal. Finally, you or the authority having jurisdiction in your company will submit a bid proposal. Guys, I cannot emphasize, we did that one with McCormick, if you remember, and we'll be doing it with Accubit. This is it, no rocket science. You start from the, all the way from the scope of work into the bid proposal. This will be on the test tomorrow. It will teach you what are the 9, I'm telling you from now, what are the 9 steps of estimating. It's going to start from the bid scope of work all the way to the bid proposal. Did you guys hear me? So that's also on the steps of, and I want to review for the test in a second too. Okay. So computers, we're going to put all this information, guys, into the computer. Bid preparation and takeoff. We're going to do the takeoff, like I said. You guys are doing. This is related to different projects, but the project that you did with the takeoff, Adam, I'm going to start with the power, counting all our receptacles in our project Accubid. We're going to start with the lighting, count all our fixtures, count the fixtures, and then start with all your cables and conduits and what's not. These are your takeoff. Input after you do the complete takeoff, guys, power and material and what's not. We're going to put this information to the software, so it's not a whole lot into it. Garbage in, garbage out, guys. The most important thing you're going to spend most of the time, Adam, is going to be spent onto the menu, the material in the software. So before you start doing the takeoff, Derek, you're going to go put the tab, the right tab, so you're under E6, for example, or E5, power, what's not, and then pick the right assembly, if that's the assembly that you need, and then how many do you need, or the right conduits. Then bill of material, pricing, laboring, sending, and tolling, all these guys are done completely by the software, No gimmicks on that. Estimate summary. To add them all up, guys, the computer you saw yesterday, not yesterday, last week, the whole estimate sheet, the project sheet that I walked you guys through it, all completely done for you with a computer, not a whole lot. Bid accuracy and bid analysis. After you put all this information, guys, you need to do a bid accuracy. Here's a couple of things for accuracy you have to pay attention, guys, and we talked about these standard grade devices versus spec devices. All the stuff, when we pick the receptacles, Adam, I told you guys to go to spec receptacles and switches, right? That's the most important thing you need to pay attention to. Outside or underground work, these are the things that you're going to pay attention to make sure that you have not forgotten anything. Failure to visit the site. If we said as a good project manager, it would be great if you can visit where the project is going to be located so you can look at the parking, entrance, all the availability and the condition and what's not. Major items like quotation, a lot of people guys forget. They take the switch gear, the generator, add the labor only, and they forgot to add the quotation. You, my friends, last week, if you guys remember, when I walked you through it, we put quotation, right? We added all our quotations for this project. Subcontractors, if any, the subtractor cost, and rental, if you are to rent equipment. What these Adam are checklists for you as you become a project manager that you have to take into consideration so you make sure that your job is accurate. Remember, guys, taking off with software is very easy. Most of your time is going to be coming out of pulling this information from the blueprints into the software. No calculation, nothing, right? Most of your time should be spent on taking the information the most accurate way into the software and checking your accuracy. So these are a few things that you have. Forgetting to include changes to the original specification, if any, or blueprints. Hurrying the bid just to get it there. Improper estimating forms. Forms. Most important things, guys. Omitting a section of the bid, supplier's takeoff for quotation, or depending on verbal quotation, what's not. Wrong scale. And we talked about this one many times, guys, when we went to Parsons and when we go to Hunt. They will tell you the single most important thing when you are wheeling it for your friend Chad, Adam, you're going to make sure that your scale is exactly what shows on the blueprint. Otherwise, garbage in, garbage out. So these are the things that you need to do in terms of bid analysis. Typical computer analysis that can help. So these are summary of now the bid accuracy, guys. Bid analysis. There's a lot of sheets we use in the old version of this book, guys. There used to be multiple reports that you can generate. Same thing from Acubid and McCormick. You can generate a lot of reports to get you the accuracy. Here's a couple of reports. Hours. You need to be looking at the estimated hours for the work and man days and the man weeks. Do you guys remember that we did this one in McCormick and we did it in an Excel sheet? How many man hour or person hour do you need for this job? That's so powerful. You need at the end to know how many man hour, because if you have done similar jobs and you're double the man hour that you need, this is a flag in terms of bid accuracy. Ratio, you take your ratio of the labor cost to the selling price. The percentage of labor, how much is this? 50% of the price of the project is labor, or is it 55%? These are the flags that we talked about. And Derek, you can hear me. Probably you guys heard me and Parsons and Paul when he came and a bunch of other speakers. They're going to keep repeating the same thing. We're going to grill you for a couple of weeks of estimating and project management. This is it, So ratio of labor. In the state of Minnesota, labor is a big deal, guys. You heard them over and over. If it's material, it's controllable. If it's labor, for the most part, it's not. So you have to pay a lot of attention to it. Material ratio to the selling price, the percentage of the ratio. Was that 50% labor, 50% material of selling price? Or then you compare with the historic data that you have. Overhead of the selling price, and a bunch of other things, guys, that you can do. All these analysis that you can do, these are detailed summary analysis reports that we used to generate from these softwares, and similar to any one report detail. You guys don't have these reports. We used to have them. Analysis each takeoff, such as hours, cost, sales taxes, overhead. The nice thing about the softwares that you have, Derek, is they can get you information. McCormick or Accurate, guys, when you put your tabs, do you guys remember the tabs that you did? You can get information about every sheet, how many 3/4 inch conduit and THHN number 12 conductor for every sheet, for every room if you want to, for power, lighting, and low voltage. And what this is important, Karen, for you, when you do, then when you get the job, you feed this information, guys, directly into what? You feed Adam this information directly into the project management, the guys who are going to be managing the project. So all these these are reports that you can get get you tons and tons of information about how to take this information, guys, and pull it directly into the system, directly into the managing the project. And I know I don't want to go over them because you guys don't have them, but we have multiple things. So to summarize, guys, when we do take off, I cannot emphasize 90% of your time is going to be dedicated to putting the information in the software. Take off by estimating. Advantage and benefits. Have you guys noticed, Derek? I bet you can write an essay about the advantage of a software over the Excel sheet that I have. You don't have to mess around with that, right? Can you guys see that? Fast, accurate. All the information that you have is very, very accurate. You can run multiple scenarios. You can have multiple sheets, multiple reports to feed to the project manager. So I'm just going over page 180 to 80, guys. Better control of the material, better use of the time. Project management in page 182, guys, of your book. We're talking about project. This class, Adam, is about project management. It's so important to get the information about your project in order to manage it. Labor and material. You can have accurate, almost very accurate information about the amount of equipment and devices and cables and conduits you need, as well as the hours for every stage of your project. Reduce the overhead to do it, increase profitability for your company if you have a software. Added confidence when you're using a software like McCormick or Accurate, guys, tied to a national price for the material. What they do, these softwares, Adam, is they tie them to a national companies that give you prices, regularly update the price for you, so you don't have to worry about Chad Kearney forgot to put the price for the Excel sheet that he has, right? These are national updated based on where you are in the area and the country. Pre-purchase consideration, usability, flexibility, reports, integration, your needs. When you buy these softwares, a couple of things you're going to take into consideration, guys. How big of a database a software has. We've been using Accurate and McCormick. There's a bunch of other software that you can do in our area. Accurate and McCormick are the most powerful ones in terms of flexibility. They're flexible, usability, reports, integration with other systems, hardware consideration. Almost, you can see, guys, when you're doing one of these softwares, you need to have a computer with big muscles in it. So almost, this is not an issue now. You can buy a lot of companies with Revit and AutoCAD, guys, have the top-notch computers to run these softwares. So being designers, we have software, we have computer, guys, with powerful hardware memories and what's not to run our Revit, and these will be more than adequate to run your Accurate or McCormick. Cost of the softwares range from $1,500 to $10,000, guys, with deals. So I can't remember what Accurate or McCormick, it probably be within this range, 10 grand or so, to get you a software. So this update it regularly. When you have a software technical support, Adam, like everything in life, you will have problems. And the most important thing is to make sure that those guys are there for you. If you guys remember, I called them from right here when I had a problem installing the software. They walked me right now. I don't know, they have remote control of your laptop. The nice thing, if you get stuck, they remote control your lap. They have give them access to your laptop, and they can walk you through all of these. So both Acubit and McCormick and other softwares have this capability. Um, can I afford it? If you guys an electrical contractor, big boy, you can't afford not to have it. Now, if you are like CA Electric, two-man job, and you don't bid on stadiums, an Excel sheet will be more than adequate for you. So the Excel sheet that I gave you, Derek, if somebody's to hire you, a little company, and they can't afford to spend 10 grand on a good software, could be good enough for them. I would say if you are a 10-man shop or the bidding, if you bid on jobs, say in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, you cannot afford not to have one of them. If you bid on jobs your range is within $5,000 to $50,000, you probably can get away with an Excel sheet, in my opinion. Um, Talked about software vendors, guys, Activate and McCormick, bunch of others that you can do. Training and support. The first thing they do to you, Derek, when you have any of these softwares is they don't depend on your friend Chad to train you. We guys give you the basics. I think it's what we give you with these softwares is bare minimum to run the software. Now, to take the software to the next level, for example, I don't go over editing the library, guys. You can edit the library, edit um, the assemblies, add more assemblies. If we have time, we'll go over this one. But you can go, both Acubit and McCormick have, boy, from 1 day to 5 day classes dedicated to their softwares. I went to a 2 day class where there's beginners, intermediate, and advanced classes. Like Revit and everything else, Karen, when you specialize in this, your company will send you to a training. You have to. So, Derek, now the next time Acubid are in town, they come to town here and do a lot of training. Go to one of their intermediate classes, because you guys, we do the basic here. So what I consider what we have done with you guys is the fundamental basic. So take it to the next, do an intermediate and advanced class on Acubid or McCormick. Pricing services. Pricing services, guys, what they do, all these softwares are tied to something called pricing services, Adam, where you can suck the information about the price of all the materials directly from these pricing services. So all the software guys are tied to companies and can talk to companies, third parties. This is page 188 that can get the information. So you don't have to call, oh, what's the receptacle today? What's the cover today? All these guys, you can pull this information directly from it. Creating your own spreadsheet. When we went, guys, to Parsons Electric, I hope you notice how they use Acubit first, and then they pull this information into a separate spreadsheet for their own analysis. You will never get away from spreadsheets. No software on the world, guys, unless you design it yourself, will satisfy 100% of your needs. What most of the people, guys, do, they take one software manufacturer, modify it to fit their needs, and in addition to that, they pull information from it into sheets so they can do more analysis. So the project managers become smarter in the way they bid, use it for project management, future prediction, and what's not. So takeoff, guys, we have manual takeoff, on-screen takeoff, and AutoCAD takeoff. You saw that one. The manual, Adam, is the one that you're doing with Chad. You go on a piece of a computer and a piece of paper, and you highlight things, and you take it off with a wheel or a counter. On-screen takeoff, you've seen how they pull it as a PDF, and they highlight it, and they take it on screen. AutoCAD takeoff, guys, is they tie the software into, I'm not sure if they do Revit, but in CAD, they identify all the symbols that you do, Derek, in CAD. So a symbol of a receptacle will be identified in Acubit or McCormick. And then when you tie the two together, and it sucks all the information directly from AutoCAD into the system. My understanding, when we went to Parsons, they don't use it a lot because there's a lot of confidence you have to build. If you do design build and you have your own symbols, then you can identify them in both softwares. It pulls the information directly from CAD. You don't even have to do on-screen takeoff where you have to highlight. Remember how they were highlighting? It pulls it directly from CAD. Well, the problem with that is you have to identify all the symbols in CAD into McCormick and make sure you always use the same symbols. If you use a different symbol, it wouldn't be identified. So, but there's a capability of doing that. So there's a couple of questions, guys. Does the software improve my accuracy? 100%. I mean, it's much, much accurate than the Excel sheet that you have. Will my estimate be a complete? Absolutely. Garbage in, garbage out. If you guys put complete, if you did the takeoff complete, put in the software, your system will be as complete as you took it off. Okay. How long will it take you to become proficient, guys, with the software? I walked you through, what is it, 2 hours, remember, in the software? Maybe altogether 4 hours between 2 sessions. That's it, and I consider you a good beginner user of software. Right? Do you guys agree with me? From what you have seen with AccuBid, with McCormick, within 4 hours, I would say it's enough to get you to use the software. Now, most of the time will be spent on identifying the actual components, and that comes with time, the material. The menu that we have in McCormick, guys, is really nice. I told you how we do. The most important thing to remember, assembly versus item. Always work with assemblies unless you can't find it, and then flip to item, and you should find most of the stuff that you're looking for. If you couldn't find something that you're looking for, guys, for this project, use something similar. So that's basically what we do. Any comments, guys? Any questions about estimating by software? Estimating by software. Does it make sense? We do the same steps, Karen, from takeoff all the way to the bill of material. Takeoff through the bill of material all the way to the bid proposal. Step by step. The most important thing, like I said, is you don't have to mess around with linking an Excel sheet works or not works and what's not. 90% of your time will be spent on taking this info from the blueprints and putting it into the computer. Okay, so that's basically, guys, chapter 8, talking about using the estimating software. And for our project, Matt, we will be using, like I said, 2 softwares, 2 industry commercially available softwares for this project. Okay, so what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to, before I let you go, I'm going to go over what's going to be on the test tomorrow, just to focus your mind. So give me 10 minutes just to have a copy of it. And then I'll go over what's going to be on the test, or what to focus for the test tomorrow. It's going to be 1 test, because it's 1 class. And then we'll take 2 tests, guys, and a final for this project goal. So please, if you have not done homework, please do the homework for you so I can give you 10 points for homework, guys. Participation, 10 points, so it's easy to get them. Thank you.